the best Fortnite player in the world. Story of Veno. When was this? 9 months ago. Okay, this is Veno's prime.
Crazy mechanics.
Woo.
His rages.
His rages.
And for being the best player in the world.
It's Queasy and Veno, your champion!
Veno has some legendary
This
rages.
is the story of Veno. How he went from an up-and-coming pro to getting banned and almost losing his entire career to now being the greatest player the game has ever seen. Veno was born on the...
Did we just... Wait. Were we ahead of
his
the...
entire career to now being the greatest...
Did we hit the what's up, brother before the what's up, brother? What's up, brother? What the... This is like... This is so old. This is from...
the game
What?
has ever seen. Veno was born on
Was
November
Veno the
26,
original-
2004 in the United
What?
Kingdom. He was raised by his father who was English and his mother who was Jamaican, which meant he was mixed. Growing up, he would move all around the UK for his father's work, and because of this, he wasn't able to make many long-lasting relationships. But even then, he was still an energetic kid wanting to try new things. But as he got a little older, he would notice that he didn't look like most of the kids his age, since he had big curly hair, and he would get picked on by the other kids. Because of this, he started to become more introverted, and at the age of 11, his parents decided to pull him out of public school and homeschool him. Since he was now at home most of the time, it was hard for him to make new friends. And that's when his brother introduced him to gaming. He would quickly fall in love with it, playing all of the most popular games at the time, and he would begin to make some relationships online because
Hey, it
of
worked
this.
in the end, but...
And eventually, like everyone, he would get into Fortnite. Even though he had been gaming for a while, his first tournament would be the Duo FNCS warm-up back in Chapter 2 of
That was
Season
his
2.
first
He would
tournament, bro. Some of these guys just weren't around in the early days. It's crazy. That was his first tournament.
Continue to play tournaments for the rest of that season,
Wow.
not seeing too much success. But Season 3, he would see some big improvements. He would make his first earnings in the second
Name is
FNCS
Soft Aimer.
qualifier for solos, and right after placing 2 more
Damn, these
cash
mechs
cups.
are nuts
He
for
would
that
make
time,
money
bro.
again in the third FNCS qualifier, and with that consistency, qual to the heats, where he had a chance to make his first grand finals. But unfortunately, he would only end up placing 88th, not qualling. But that was
Okay.
still an extra $1,000 he earned from
That's
it.
pretty good
He would
for his
continue to
second
place in
season
some cash
competing,
cups here
though.
and there, and now Season 4 FNCS was coming up. But he would play poorly, not even making it past round 2 for any of the weeks. But lucky
Oh,
for
wow.
Veno, Frosty Frenzy was right around the corner, and this was his chance to make some pretty good money.
Oh,
And he
everyone
would
made
do
pretty good
just
money
that,
in Frosty
placing in every
Frenzy.
session and making himself $2,000 in
wasn't
just
crazy,
that
I
weekend.
guess.
Like before, he would continue to place in some cash cups here and there, and would actually pull off an impressive
Wait.
second place in a solo cash cup. However, Season 5 FNCS
So
was
Veno
coming
was
up,
like
and this
hardly
time,
placing in Stark season. He had like the biggest blow. He started playing with Tayson like 2 seasons later.
Veno would go crazy.
What?
After having a decent performance in qualifiers, they were able to just barely make it to semifinals, where they would need a top 8 to make grands. And what do you know, they barely end up placing 8th place, calling them for his first grand finals ever. They would do alright placing 20th overall, getting himself $3,000. And for a first grands, this isn't
Yeah,
that
with
bad.
Veno,
considering he
Knifer,
was
and
contested.
Patty.
Now going into Season 6, he would actually get picked up by CRR and World Cup winner Aqua.
What?
They would do good in the qualifiers, making heats, but then disaster struck.
Dude, this blow up was crazy. Hello? Am I the only one hearing this? How did we go from these placements to getting playing with Aqua?
Veno would
Are we
end up
missing
getting
something?
permanently banned by Epic Games.
Oh, this
You
was
see,
so
a few years back
bad.
when Veno first started playing Fortnite, he actually bought his account so he could get some more skins. And well, Epic doesn't like that, so they decided to ban him right as he started doing well. Fortunately for Veno though, all he had to do was create a new account and he would be fine. But this means he
It
was
still
now
ruins their
unqualified
grands,
for the
though.
solo FNCS All-Stars event. You see, to make finals in this event, you need to do decent in the Season 5 and Season 6 grands. And since he placed 20th in Season 5 and was on track to do good in Season 6, he would now have to play the open qualifiers where only 10 spots were available. There were 4
So, yeah,
rounds.
to sum that up properly, so he bought his account ages ago. Epic obviously knew about it. They waited until semifinals when he was qualified to grands to finally ban him. Not only meaning that he couldn't play the grands, but neither could Aqua and CRR because he bought his account like 3 years before. Like, dude, that one was crazy.
Rounds he had to qualify through, he would do decent in the first 3 rounds, making it all the way to the set finals where he would need to pop off, and pop off he did. He would finish in second place and easily qualify him to the finals. And keep in mind, at this time, Veno was still very underrated with only around 10k earned. Now with the finals coming up, Destiny Jesus, one of the best Fortnite coaches, would help him out. During this time, he would work with a bunch of other high-profile pros like Tayson in order to come up with new strats and be as prepared as they possibly can be for the tournament. So now it was time for Veno to show everyone he had what it took. And if you're familiar with Veno, well, you know how this goes.
Let's go, Veno. Good, bro.
This is going to be a compilation of him dying. I mean, second and third is very impressive, but this finish, bro. And he's still sad that he came second.
Veno would end up placing
he went from
second
10k
place, missing that
to
last
130.
shot that cost him 30 grand.
Oh
Even though
my
he didn't
god.
win, he ended up getting 12 times his earnings
That's
from that
crazy.
one event. Now FNCS was coming up soon, and he already proved to everyone that he was a top competitor, and he ended up trioing with Raison and Tayson. They would dominate the qualifiers instantly.
Dude, he went from
flying to
not even
grand.
making finals to then playing with Aqua, getting banned from 10k earned to 130, then playing with Tayson and Rezon. Like, dude, Veno had the most insane blow up in like 4 seasons.
So now with all the pressure on Veno to perform, he would start to get extremely nervous.
Oh, I remember
this.
this.
Would play a pretty big part in Veno's career. He said before how in solos, it's just him, but in trios, his teammates are relying on him and he does not want to let them down. And he would actually end up getting so nervous that he would end up throwing up right before the finals started. But after all of that, it was time for him to play. And after the first day, they had a very bad performance, not even finishing top 10 on the day.
And everyone put so much pressure on him.
They were able to bring it back a little on day 2 and end up finishing top 5 in the end. Even with a top 5 in grands though, none of them were happy and they decided to split. And going into the last season of chapter 2, Veno would actually end up playing with Mongrel and Joe.
Dude, this is when Tayson was like Jesus, and like everyone knew Veno was nervous, so every time they underplayed, everyone would say it's because Veno was nervous, which made him more nervous. It was just so bad, man. I felt so bad for Veno. They still got a 5th. That's not even that bad, but again, you were playing with Tayson, who at the time was like the guy. Like you had to win if you were playing with Tayson.
Make semifinals, but couldn't pull off the grand finals qualification. And when Grand Royale came, he wasn't even able to qualify for finals again. So with these poor performances back to back, everyone was getting ready to write Veno off as someone who just did well in one
Veno then
tournament,
didn't make the next 2 grands?
Deep down, he knew that he had what it took, and with chapter 3 right around the corner, it was time for him to grind harder than he has ever grinded before. And going into chapter 3, it was announced that the game mode is now going to be duos.
This
for the
stream
rest
was
of the
so
year.
goofy when they announced all the stuff.
To play with Joe for the first season. They would do decent throughout the season, making grand.
That is very much Zandy. That is not Joe, by the way.
Season. They would do decent throughout the season, making grand finals, but he would only end up placing 12th. So again, after not having the greatest performance in grands, everyone was wondering if he would ever have another good grands placement. Going into season 2, Veno wanted to show what he could do, and for
Veno had the most roller coaster placements ever.
And give it one last shot together, and well, Veno did not disappoint.
I'm low, family. Let's go. 61.
Another block by Aqua. The positioning almost perfect. Veno chases him down like a hound dog. Here we are instead, the winners. No surprise.
Reese on the broadcast.
After dominating the high ground, Veno would win his first FNCS, earning himself 150 grand.
Damn.
Going into season 3, things would change. Aqua throughout his career struggled with wrist and hand problems, and because of this, he would have to take a season or 2 off of playing here and there.
Well, to be
after
fair, there was a
things
lot
started
of
to flare
beef
back
between
up again.
Veno and Aqua at this point.
Aqua decided that he would not play this next season. So now Veno was in need of a teammate, and lucky for him, Queasy reached out. At this point, Queasy had multiple FNCS wins already, even winning the first season of Chapter 3. And just like Aqua, Queasy is known for being the king of high ground, and matching with Veno, who is an amazing fragger, they were a perfect match together. And fun fact, in Season 1 of Chapter 3, Queasy was debating whether he should play with Hen or Veno, but ultimately he picked Hen because Hen had better placements. Queasy and Veno would start off strong with the first 2 Cash Cups they played together, getting 1st and 2nd place. And in the first qualifier of FNCS, they would place 3rd, instantly getting them into the grand finals. And now it was time to see if this team would work out against the best players on EU. They would end up finishing 3rd place, which is not bad for their first season together, but most importantly, it secured their spot for the upcoming FNCS Invitationals LAN. Now,
nothing special
season
happened
4
there,
and the Invitationals were coming up very soon. They would start this season out strong, placing very well in most of the Elite Weekly finals. Going into the LAN, they were one of the favorites to win, of course, and being one of the only height-dominant teams, it was looking good for them, and they did not disappoint again.
They have the high ground, they drop down low. The game is theirs after they take down Bevy to end the day. But a team
Man, this tourney was so good though. Dude, Invitational was so good. Dude, now they finally fixed lag with the observers. I hope this LAN is just going to be like the best ever. I mean, it's going to be hard to top this finish.
After an insane performance pulling ahead of all the other teams, it was just Queasy and Veno in 2nd and Kami and Seti in 1st by only 12 points. And here is where they would make the most important decision in that tournament. And that was
almost
to take
any
the
Fortnite
fight
tournament
right to
ever.
them.
Dude, going from being a player who was throwing up in a regular Grands to going from landing on 1st as 2nd at LAN is crazy. Oh, Queasy should have just waited, bro. I've watched this so many times, and every time, man, I'm just like, I can't believe this happens.
Shield going out. He's trying to bait it. He's trying to bait the revive so that way Cammy might peek. Straight to the wall.
He can't. Dude, Seti, Cammy, man, that was
like
so
that
intense.
we'll probably never see again.
Oh my God, look at Cammy, bro.
2nd place, right? Well, I'll let Veno tell you.
We mustn't deny as well that you put on such a great display this last 2 days. I mean, you must be very proud as well, Veno, of what you boys achieved here at Invitational. No.
Even though they didn't end up winning, we were now progressing into chapter 4. So it was
Dude,
back
there's
to
so
the
many
grind.
parts about that so crazy. The fact that they beat Cammy and Seti to the drop, they landed before them is crazy. The fact that they had the advantage, Queasy pushed up too far, and then also the fact that Veno couldn't build the wall there, which again is drop knowledge. Everyone says it's like luck, but again, Cammy knew he couldn't build there. But dude, oh man, there was so many parts that it was just so crazy.
Well, that didn't actually end up happening. I talked about how Veno and Queasy were a very height-dominant team already. And the first season of the new chapter was awful for height teams.
Dude, I love the hammers so much.
Being introduced, height would get chopped out every 2 seconds, so it made it impossible to work around. And this really demotivated them, especially Queasy, which made him not play as much. And because of this, they would end up placing 4th in Grands, which would be fine for most teams.
Only
but this team
4th?
wants to be the best.
Why'd you even play,
They
bro?
want to
Don't
be
even
the
ready up.
second best. So going into next season, they would grind harder than they ever have.
I totally forgot this existed. How did we ever... Was this a thing?
Next season, they would grind
double transformer cannons, bro. Oh my God, I totally forgot this item existed.
Harder than they ever have. After placing 3rd, 1st, and 7th in the qualifier weeks, they easily made it to grand finals, but nobody was ready for the most dominant FNCS performance in EU Grands anyone has ever seen.
From build to build, working in and out of the zone.
Such a dominant performance. He at one point might beat it though, we'll see.
Nice. Come on, man.
Dude, having a highlight reel of your wins in a grand final is such a flex. Call EU a monarchy because we have 2 kings, bro. Shai is such a good caster, man.
EU Grand Finals Duo Champions. It's official.
6 out of 12 wins.
It's Queasy and Veno, your champion.
They would win 6 out of the 12 games and have over 150 points more than 2nd. And with the insane performances, they've locked in their seats for the upcoming Global Championship LAN at the end of this year for their share at $10 million. So I guess now we'll just have to wait and see if they can check LAN winner off of their bucket list. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and go check out the story of Malabuka while you're at it. Peace out.